ENT Clinic of Iowa is proud to present to you Metro Woman. It's their way of showing their complete commitment to women across the state of Iowa. Please enjoy this episode of Metro Woman, presented to you by the entire staff of ENT Clinic of Iowa, located in West Des Moines, downtown Des Moines, and in Pella.
Today on Metro Woman, we're at Walsh Motors in Carroll to learn basic car maintenance and safety tips. Haven't changed a tire since driver's ed? No problem. Al Hunter, sales representative at Walsh Motors, is going to show us how. Then Kevin Eichscheid, service manager, is going to explain all the dashboard lights and what they mean. Then let us take a look under the hood to show us what to look for if there is a problem. It's time for Metro Woman. Well, we're here at Walsh Motors with Al Hunter, and you're our expert today on some just questions that we have about women and cars. This is Metro Woman after all, so
but that's right.
Ask from the female demographic.
Glad to be here.
A first question that I would have is probably when women customers come in, what are some of the first questions they ask when they are looking for a vehicle and what they're shopping for specifically? Do they have different concerns than your male customers?
Occasionally they'll want to know a little bit more about front-wheel drive. Perhaps they're considering an all-wheel drive. So some of the basic questions like that, and then naturally color and interior trims, things like that.
So what are some of the basic things we really need to understand about a car?
Probably in the wintertime, like analog brake system, things like that. Sometimes those can get people a little confused. If you get in a hard stop situation on a slippery road, you may feel a chattering of the brake pedal. That's normal. It's not a problem.
Sure.
Don't pump brakes when you have an analog brake system. Just step on them.
Right.
And don't be afraid to step on them hard, because it'll bring you down as fast as the computer allows it to be brought down.
Sure. Now, wet surfaces versus snow and ice, how do we react to that type of a slip slide
Same situation. The system will take care of itself, actually.
Oh, it does?
A lot of the new cars even have stability control systems. If the car actually gets a little sideways on you, the computer knows it and it'll help try and bring you out of the slide.
Wow.
My kids do ask though, like if I do, because it does make a little kind of, and they're like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "The car's trying to make us not crash." So
Correct. It'll cycle the brakes really
trust
fast.
technology. It's there to help you.
But way back in the day, you were told to pump. your
Yep,
brake.
that's exactly right, and that's why I mentioned don't
But now
pump
don't
them,
do that.
because the computer's going to do it
If
for
you
you.
have the anti-lock,
brake,
okay.
which almost all cars nowadays do.
Write that down.
And it can cycle the brakes like 10 times a second, where if you were to do it with your foot, you can't come close to that.
What would be important? Okay, you've got your vehicle, you bought the what's going to fit your family, and but what do you need to keep in your vehicle, summer versus winter, to make sure you're safe when you're driving?
I would say all the time, carry a first aid kit. I mean, hopefully you never need to use it, but if you've got that in your trunk, that's great. Naturally in the wintertime, an ice scraper, blanket. Jumper cables are always good to have, just in case, although that's becoming a thing of the past. Unless you happen to leave something on and flatten the battery, you don't use them a lot.
What are people looking for when they come in for a car anymore? Is it style? Is it gas? Is it, efficiency? What are some of the things?
Gas mileage is probably one of the most common things asked, because everybody wants to get more miles per gallon. Gas, well, it
Sure.
cycles up and down. I don't know if it's
Right.
getting any cheaper or not, but
Yeah.
probably gas mileage.
Right. And there's such a difference in sizes and shapes of cars. I mean, from the huge SUVs we have seen for many years down to the more compact SUV to the small ones. So,
Right, they're getting into the crossovers more, which is
Yes.
kind of a cross between a car and an SUV.
Sure.
Those are real popular because they get a little better gas mileage. They can be gotten in front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive.
Right.
And they just got a lot of versatility to them as far as being able to pack things in the back
Yeah.
and still haul people at a convenient height. They're easier to get in and out
Yeah.
of.
Okay, Al, you talked about some safety things to have in your trunk. What are some other little things that might be helpful to have maybe in your glove box? Just incidentals for emergencies in a car.
Probably the one thing that I don't see a lot of and you need is a flashlight.
Sure.
It can be just for finding something you drop on the floor at night.
Yeah.
But should you have a flat tire and have to change it at night, that flashlight can be a lifesaver.
That would be.
So
And
simple,
what a simple
but-
little thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, that would be the number one thing I would recommend.
Right. You know, when I've bought a car, and I know I've worked with you before, reading your manual.
Doesn't always
really
get
does.
done.
I am a
really
witness.
does
I've
help.
seen a reader manual.
Well, how many people, it's like we buy a lot of things, you don't look at the manual. I just want to start it and go. But,
Sure.
but I do think there's information in there about driving tips and just taking care of your car. I mean, they spend a lot of time putting those manuals together, I assume.
If you would take the time to read it, it's great. You'll
Sure.
discover things that you didn't even know.
And then
Yeah.
you don't have to call Al so much.
Although calling Al does help.
Even if you've had your car a year or
Tam,
two,
look
you
on
may
page
be
68.
surprised. Most
No.
cars even have an abbreviated section either in the owner's manual or a small book.
Yeah.
That, if nothing else, take that one out.
The mini version,
A
yeah.
mini version,
Yeah.
and read that.
Cliff's Notes.
It's not quite as overwhelming as that thick one. Yeah,
Exactly.
But great.
Drag out a
Yeah.
600-page book, it can be a little
Sure.
overwhelming.
Sure.
Well,
But
we've
it
got
is-
a lot more questions, and
Oh,
we're going
yes.
to get in a car and talk some more detail right after the break.
Today on Metro Woman, we're at Walsh Motors in Carroll. Al's given us some great safety tips and also information about various types of cars. But now it's time to get down and dirty. Al's going to show us how to change a tire.
Let's just pretend
Yes.
that this is flat, because I can guarantee you I haven't changed a flat tire since I had to learn for driver's ed.
And that's
I don't
probably
think I could do it now.
That's probably
I really
the case
don't.
of most people. We haven't had to. So
I had to for a quiz, but otherwise I really don't.
But-
Charlie, please come help me. So let's just pretend this is flat. What would be next to change the tire?
Okay. First thing you want to be very aware of is where are you at? If you're alongside the interstate, we want to be as far off the road as we possibly can be. If you can get to a parking lot, a farm drive, something like that, a whole lot better. Try and get out of the flow of traffic.
Sure.
So naturally, if it's on the other side, you may have to leave yourself a little bit of room between that and the ditch. But be aware of where you're at.
Right.
Because somebody hitting you while you're changing a tire would really ruin your day.
Exactly. The next
More
thing
than the
is
tire.
the tire would not get changed.
make yourself visible. In other words, get your four-way flashers on. If you've got a bright coat or something, wear that. You want to be able to be
Oh, that
seen
makes
by
sense. Mm-hmm.
the oncoming traffic. So those are the two main things. From that point, you'll want to put the car in park, which you probably have done already, and set the parking brake. Because once we get this thing jacked up, we don't want it rolling off the jack.
Good point.
Obviously.
Yep.
So first thing you'll do, probably you're going to get out
boy.
your owner's manual to find out where is the jack. And in
we
most
go-
cases, it's going to be in the trunk.
Okay.
Can vary if you've got an SUV or something like that.
I'm not seeing tools.
Okay, everything's usually buried underneath. Now, I'm going to pull a liner out of the trunk here. And the easiest is some people will try and do this and then work under it. Don't. Pull the whole thing out and
Oh,
get it out of your
sure.
way.
Sure.
That way you can
And you
get to
could
it.
couldn't you put that on the ground maybe?
You
if,
could.
if you needed to
Actually, the
sit on
easiest
it.
is to use a floor mat. Pull your floor mat out of the back seat.
Right, they're a little smaller.
If you're on a gravel shoulder, it gets real hard on the knees,
Yeah.
leaning on rocks. So take a floor mat out of the back and throw it down. And then we're going to go ahead and get the tire out of the trunk here and spin the retaining nut off. Throw off the side and then just lift the tire out. These are temporary spares, so they're not quite as heavy as a
I
full-size
was
tire.
going to say, how heavy are they? I've never lifted one.
I would say 20, 25 pounds.
Can you do it?
Probably.
Hopefully I had somebody in the car with me.
Need to do some weight training, Tim?
Pump it a few times up in the air.
If that's that heavy, I can't imagine how heavy
Yeah,
that
that
one
one's
is.
going to be a little heavier.
Oh my gosh.
Take that one off.
But I'll try and show you a few things that makes it a little easier.
Okay.
And you're going to want to get your jack out
Oh yeah.
and tire iron.
Can't forget your jack.
Oh. Well, look at that. It's all like
Does
in
it
a
all,
little happy
most
thing.
cars come all packaged like that?
And then I'm going to grab the floor mat out of the back
Little, like,
and just flip that down on the ground. That way I won't get my pants dirty. Okay, and we're going to get all the tools out here. And the tire iron.
So far, nothing from driver's ed is coming back to me at all.
And
Well,
then one of
you
the
don't use
things
it, you
that,
lose it, remember?
you'll want to probably do before you jack the car up, let's get the lug nuts a little loose, because if you get the tire in the air and you're
Oh.
trying to turn on it, the tire's going to spin, or it could spin. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to break all 5 lug nuts loose. And you just, these lug wrenches have an extension on them, so that if you don't have a lot of arm strength, you can extend it out
Leverage.
and
Okay,
gain
so
leverage.
if you don't have leverage, make it longer, okay?
And we're just going to loosen them, say a quarter turn. That way I don't have to worry about breaking them loose. And then your owner's manual is going to show you the jacking point to use. Most of them go on what's called a pinch weld under here, and that's where this one's going to go.
So there's a groove in the jack, and you're fitting the groove under the car
Right.
into that.
That'll help the jack from slipping.
Oh, that makes sense. And you call that a what?
Pinch weld.
Pinch weld.
It's where
Okay.
2 seams of the body are put together.
And that's in the owner's manual, tells you where it is.
It'll show you
Kind
where
of.
to
Okay.
where to put the jack. That's
Owner's
correct.
manual, again.
It comes in handy. So you don't have to have it that far off the ground, really. So
No.
that doesn't
Yeah,
sound,
it's not like
that doesn't
That's
sound
the
so.
key is don't get it too far off the ground, so you have to handle the weight of the tire.
Dukes of Hazzard level.
True,
kind of car,
and
not
considering the weight of that tire versus the new spare, you don't want to have to lift it very much.
That's correct.
Okay.
And we'll get all these lug nuts loose. And if you have to carry an impact wrench in your trunk, that'd be great, but most people don't.
No,
What's
no.
an impact wrench?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that.
That's the wrenches that you see the people using, on NASCAR races, where they can change tires really fast.
Oh, that fascinates me how quickly they can do that.
So now we don't have the tire very far off the ground, so we can just slide it off,
Oh, okay.
get it out of the road.
Get it off.
And if
Yeah.
you're a NASCAR, you
Yeah, there you go.
Let's flop it on its side so it doesn't fall on anybody.
Okay. Wow.
All right.
And then when you go to put this one on,
Which is not nearly as attractive, which is why you would want to then handle getting a new one. I mean,
If-
Sonia, at this point, you don't care about looks.
I know,
You
but I'm
want
just
to
saying that
get
you
this-
want to get a real tire back on pretty soon, as soon as you can.
oh,
Yeah.
correct. This is
Yeah.
just to get you to the gas station type
Yeah,
situation.
okay. Well, we're back. We're talking with Kevin Eichscheid, service god. He's got all the answers to those things that light up on the dashboard that you don't know what they mean because you didn't read your
Yep,
service
manual.
manual. But personally, I've had maintenance required come on, and
Okay.
I of course called my husband and said, "This light came on. What do I do?" But if you don't have your husband or somebody answering the phone to tell you what to do, what would you do?
The maintenance required light is telling you your vehicle is ready for an oil change.
Okay.
That's what it is. It doesn't hurt to drive. It's just a reminder.
So
and
it's not going to explode in a mile if you don't pull right over.
Not at all.
Okay.
Nope, just an oil change reminder is what it is.
Okay.
And check engine, that's another one I've seen.
The check engine light is tied to the pollution or the emission system on the car. There's many reasons that light comes on. If the light just stays on steady, it could be as simple as a loose gas cap, which we see a huge amount of that. Okay. If the light is flashing, that indicates a more urgent condition, which would indicate you probably should get to the dealer as soon as you can.
Okay.
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 And the brake system, sometimes there's a brake light that comes on.
If the ABS light comes
ABS,
on,
that's what I've seen.
it could come on because it's part of your traction control system. If the light stays on, then there's a analog brake problem.
Okay.
And once again, you should probably get to the dealer and have them inspect what code's in it and go from there.
Okay.
What's probably the most common thing people call and say, "This little light came on, Kevin, I don't know what to do"? What's probably number one? Or
Probably right now, the number one thing we have is the low tire warning light that comes on. And a lot of reasons that come on is this time of year, the pressures change quite easily because every 10 degree in temperature change, it changes 1 psi in the tire pressure.
I had no
So
idea
it
the
throws
temperature
the
had
lights
anything to
on.
do with it whatsoever.
The Those are the most common, the check engine, the low tire light, ABS as you mentioned.
Battery. Would
Well,
that
if
be
the battery
under
light
maintenance?
comes on, then you're in trouble.
Oh.
That's definitely a problem.
Okay.
Pull over immediately.
Good
ASAP.
tip, Kevin. Good
Usually
tip.
a yellow light, which would be more of a warning light, is pretty safe to drive, get to where you need to go. Anything red is an urgent stop.
Oh.
Okay.
Red is urgent.
Red is, yes.
Get going. Yellow is
Oil
a
and-
warning. Are there green ones?
Hey,
Green
the
ones?
the headlights are green.
That just means what's on?
That's a low, or that's the daytime running light.
no
worry about
concern.
that.
Don't
No.
worry.
That
Don't worry
green is
about that
good.
Keep driving. It's
Green
green.
is good. Red is not.
Yep,
Okay.
don't worry about that one.
Now, are there some things under the hood we should probably be aware of?
Oh, we should show you some things relating to oil and
Okay, we'll take a break and we'll climb
under
out of the
the
car
hood.
and we'll get under the hood.
okay, cool.
More about cars when we come back on Metro Woman. But first, here's another quick and easy recipe from Kayla Westergaard from the Iowa Egg Council.
Bring a taste of Italy to your home tonight. Try a sausage and egg breakfast skillet. The ingredients you'll need are 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 2 cups of hash brown potatoes, 8 ounces of Italian sausage pre-cooked and sliced, 1 cup of green and red peppers, 4 eggs, 1/4 cup of milk or water, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of oregano dried, and 1/2 cup of shredded Italian cheese blend. We've already pre-cooked our sausage and potatoes, and next I'm going to add in our green and red peppers. And we'll let that cook, and while that's cooking, we'll combine the salt, oregano, and milk with our eggs, and we'll blend that well. Once our egg mixture is mixed, we'll add that into the pan. Now the eggs will cook fast, so the key to this is pushing the cooked mixture to the center of the dish to let the uncooked mixture fill in those empty gaps. When we come back, sausage and egg breakfast skillet.
Moving my mind and my hands at world record speed. I'm Luke Myers. If you want to be incredible, eat incredible.
Eggs. Incredible energy for body and mind.
We've just taken our sausage and egg breakfast skillet out of the pan. I'm just going to top it off with a little shredded Italian cheese blend. And it looks great and is sure to taste great as well. Thanks for joining me. My name is Kayla Westergaard.
Kevin, there is just so much to look at down here, so tell us what we really need to pay attention to.
Okay, let me talk first about the oil change intervals. Most vehicles, well, all vehicles will have a recommended mileage that you have your car serviced, which is usually around 5,000 miles on most of our newer vehicles. If you're wondering what brand of oil to use or grade, it shows right on the cap here. This one
see
happens
that.
to be 5W30 weight. We also have the hybrid models. They have a 0W20, which the intervals are quite different than this, but that's just where you can find out your
Okay, that's handy.
grade of oil, okay?
They're not all that clean and easy to read, but
Well, no,
other
this
than
is
that,
brand new, so it's quite
this
simple
is pretty
here.
nice, yeah, okay.
Right next to it is the actual gauge to check the oil. Very few of us do that. We just rely on it not to be a problem. But if you'd like to check your oil, the best time to do it is with the engine cold before you start the motor.
Oh,
Once the oil is warmed up, it has to allow time to drain back down to check again. So if you do check your oil, make sure the engine's cold in the mornings, okay?
okay.
How about what windshield wiper fluid?
Windshield wiper fluid, right here is this reservoir in this car. They are located in different spots in different cars. Really, the only
and
time
you
you
can
need
pour
yeah.
in any type you buy. I mean, they're all
What-
about the same.
Yeah, they all have
They
the
have that
winterized.
antifreeze stuff in it. Mhm.
The important thing is make sure you get it in the correct reservoir. I have had it happen.
Oh,
It's gotten into the wrong
Ooh.
reservoir, which is not a good thing.
that doesn't sound
Oh
good.
boy.
So just
Got
make
that,
sure,
Sonia.
Yeah.
and it's,
Got
and
it.
it's got
I
a
am
windshield
paying
washer.
They've really
Sign.
come good pictures. I mean,
Yeah.
that's easy.
It's
yeah.
obvious where it goes.
Pay
okay?
attention.
Washer fluid is usually blue in color. There are some other ones that are orangey color, which is a Rain-X brand. So there's different colors, but blue is usually the color.
Purple?
Okay.
No, I haven't seen it. Well, there may be. I haven't seen
Pink. I
purple.
suppose you want
Oh,
pink.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That'd be cute.
Some of the other reservoirs, which are coolant, brake fluids, are really stuff you shouldn't have to worry about.
At least we shouldn't.
You shouldn't
We
have
should
to.
not touch that.
When you're getting an oil change, are those things checked customarily by the dealer doing your oil change?
Technicians look them over. I always top them off
Okay.
if they're low.
Okay. And battery.
Yeah, while we're under the hood, this particular vehicle has a battery elsewhere. It could be under the rear seat, likely is because there's no battery under the hood.
Really?
There is a positive post right here, which this cover can be lifted on this model and connected here, and a ground attached elsewhere to start it. Okay?
So if you were to have it jump, that's the place
That's
they
the
would.
place. And it's a good thing to know where that is in the event you need help.
Sure.
Tam, I think we know everything there is to know about cars.
Well, maybe not everything, but more than I did before.
That's for sure. And I think that we're good enough, maybe we could change a tire better than your best guys, huh?
Oh, I hear a challenge.
Can't. No way.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's definitely a
take that bet.
challenge.
I think we can.
Well,
we're
gonna-
Metro women, you know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to give it
We'll
a
see about
try.
that.
We challenged some of Kevin's best service guys to a tire changing competition. Let's meet our competitors.
So far, so good. We've got our first lug nut off. They must have sabotaged this tire because it's not coming off that easily.
Oh man, just like that, we go from first place to last place. Turns out the tire comes off better when all the lug nuts are removed. Well, we may not have won the competition, but we sure learned a lot about car maintenance and safety. If you have a show idea, please visit our website, www.metrowoman.tv, and let us know what you'd like to see. Thanks for watching.